watching Rogers TV.
Join me over coffee as we delve into topics that affect our everyday lives. And today I'm in conversation with Carolyn Abbotts. Did I get that right?
Oh, my husband said, are you sure you want to take my name? Caroline Araujo Abbotts.
Oh, okay, well, you do it so much better than I. And we're in conversation today, and we're going to be talking about that knock on the door and someone's trying to sell you something, and you're not really sure if this is legitimate. Am I being scammed? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, Carolyn is the financial literacy, with the financial literacy program. You're the coordinator through the United Way, Bruce Gray. And that's where you can go if you've had a problem. We're going to talk to Carolyn about this and how any one of us can fall into a scam without really realizing what was happening. So welcome, Carolyn, and thank you so much for being here. This is happening in our community.
This is happening in our community to us, to friends, to family, to neighbors, all the time. So especially when the government comes out with rebates. So there's lots of rebate programs. The government comes out with them periodically. Yeah. And these are legitimate. The rebate programs are legitimate. But what isn't is these businesses that pop up and are trying to take advantage of that aren't actually connected with those rebate programs. So they'll promise things like the rebate to come back and pay a portion that you've already paid, but they're not actually connected with them. So that's where the scam piece comes, and they're so sophisticated. So I'll give you an example of myself, actually. So my husband and I own a home, and we need some things done in the house. And I thought, yes, these programs are there. I'm going to do it. And I was on Facebook, and I saw on social media an ad, and I thought, awesome. Clicked on the ad, put a little bit of information in, was wary about not putting too much, and then got a call. So I had initiated it. I got a call. They set up someone that was going to come and check out our house and do an assessment and then give us some options. My husband was home when the assessor came, and he gave me a call and said, we can either sign right now, or if I said, no, we're not signing right now. We need the information. You and I are going to look at it together, and then we'll get back to them. And he said, if we get back to them and we sign online, they're going to charge us an extra $50. And I said, that's fine. If it's a scam, then we save ourselves the $50 plus all of the other things that come around with it. And if we pay $50 because it's not a scam and we have to do that, that's fine. And I'm so glad we did, because they weren't legitimate. They seemed legitimate. All of the pieces sort of sounded legitimate, but there was something that wasn't right, and it was that high pressure tactic. Do it now or else. If you don't do it now, the quick timelines, they didn't give us time to think about it. That was what sort of twigged for us that this wasn't right. So that was us personally, and it was embarrassing. I felt embarrassed, but people don't talk about it when they're embarrassed, and that actually lets these people continue scamming, and it puts other people at risk. So that's why I talk about it regularly, because I want to help people be safe, and I want people to get the rebates and these programs that are legitimate and not fall prey to the scams.
Well, they are sophisticated, and really smart, intelligent people can get trapped into them. There are all kinds. So that was home repairs or home ownership situation. You have the online romance scams. You have the rebate scams. You have emails coming in all the time from banks that look legitimate.
These are people, the scammers are sitting in office buildings. This is not someone in the basement of their mom's house with a hoodie and like, that's not who is scamming you. The people that are scamming are professionals. This is their daily job. They go to work, they do this work, and they leave. They are in office buildings, they're in cubicles doing this work. This is highly organized crime.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. So when people, it is embarrassing when you feel scammed, but these are people that are professionals. That's why they're so good at this. That's why they have funding behind them to be able to make this look legitimate. So it can be hard, but it's so much more common than people realize.
What are the red flags? Like, what is it that we could do to kind of get that red flag and to really acknowledge that it's a red flag?
So there is something, the Competition Bureau of Canada has something called the Little Black Book of Scams. So if people want to educate themselves, this is a government-made resource. It's very user-friendly. It tells you about all those different scams, the romance scams, the utility scams, the email scams, the prince of some exotic country scams, even the like selling scams. I also have fallen prey to online social media selling.
Oh yeah.
You know, going and buying the different things, the used things on social media.
Yeah.
I've fallen prey to that. So it's the high pressure tactics. No matter what, if it's high pressure tactics and someone isn't giving you time to think about it, to review information, that is a huge red sign that this is probably a scam. That is big. If things sound too good to be true, doing research to make sure that it's true, like with the utility scams, there are legitimate programs. There's legitimate programs through Save on Energy and through Enbridge Gas. So if you go to Enbridge Gas, if you go to Save on Energy and you're applying for these programs through there, those are legitimate. Anything that's coming unsolicited is be wary of. Question everything. Cynicism, I hate being cynical. I want to trust. I am a trustworthy person. But being cynical and being suspicious is one way that we protect ourselves. So doing your research ahead of time, checking things out ahead of time, taking your time, take a breath. Those are things that you can do to protect yourself.
One of the things that we know is that often very vulnerable people are being taken advantage of, whether you're in an at-risk financial situation or whether you're a senior and you don't understand all the technology that's going on around you, or that you may be having some into dementia, that sort of thing, and not being able to fully comprehend what is being said to you or what you're reading. You think everything coming on the email must be true.
Yeah.
Or if it's on social media, it must be true, because we didn't grow up with that. We don't know the technology behind all this. And the address looks sort of familiar.
There's so, again, this is where the professionalism comes in. You can have governmentofcanada.ca, and it can be an A, with a circle and a line. It can also be a circle and a line and the little hat. Those are two different symbols on the computer. They look the same. You would assume that's an A. So it can be governmentofcanada.ca, can be the legitimate one, as an example. And then scammers will use government.ca with a different symbol. They're so sneaky. And also for people to know, when you're pressing on a link for something, what it says the link is, you can actually, when you make a link, you can put different links behind it. So what it says may not be the actual link that you're going to.
I did not know
Absolutely.
that.
So I put links in regularly to my Financial Friday blogs.
Oh, yeah.
And on those, it will have you, when you, as someone who writes this, you can add link. When you add the link, it has what is it going to say and what is the link that's going to be sent. Those can be different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this blog.
So the United Way, we have multiple social media platforms that we are on. Every Friday we do a Financial Friday blog. So that might be myself writing or a guest blog person writing about relevant right now financial issues that people are experiencing. So that's every single Friday. You can go and look at all of our old blogs on our website. And Facebook is where we put our the links to those blogs, but the actual blogs sit on the website.
And so if anyone is thinking that they're entangled into a scam, they can go to the blog that talks about the scams and have an opportunity to read through it and decide, what's my next step. Now, you were saying that you traveled down a path where you got partway through and then you stopped. What happens if the person gets all the way through and then realizes they have a problem? Can they come to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I run the financial literacy program. I meet with people one-on-one. We talk through your monthly expenses, your monthly income, your assets and debts. That gives me information about your whole situation. So whether you're scammed or not, if you're experiencing financial issues, give me a call at the United Way and we can do this. In the fall, Angela Jensen, who is a lawyer at the legal clinic, wrote a series of blogs about scams and elder abuse.
Oh, yes.
And those were, she guest blogged on our Financial Friday. So you can find those blogs on the website. If you have gone through all the way, so another example with the utility programs. So you might have someone that calls you, offers you a heat pump. You've heard about heat pumps. They're great. Heat pumps are great. You've heard about them. Yes, you want a free heat pump with a rebate. Awesome. If that's a scam and not the legitimate, they will come to your house. They'll do an assessment. They'll even install whatever equipment it is, whether it's heat pump or new furnace. They'll then put, they used to be able to put a lien on your house. They cannot do that anymore.
Oh.
That has changed in the last year. Yeah, that's new. That's a big new good thing that happened. But so you've got this new equipment and all of a sudden you've got monthly payments coming off of your cards or out of your bank account that you didn't realize you had agreed to.
Oh, yeah.
So what some of these scam companies do is they've got a branch that is the utility part. They've got a branch that is the construction part that comes and installs it. They've got a branch that is the legal part of it. And they have a branch that is the lender. So they'll give you high interest loans for the equipment that you thought was going to be free or highly discounted because of the rebate, but that rebate never materializes. So if you've got if this has happened to you and these little expenses are coming off monthly, you may have been scammed. You may have thought of that, and they do this. They're so good at this. They're so good. It makes me so mad. But you can come and talk to me. You can also talk to the Grey Bruce Legal Clinic. They will review contracts. The sooner you do it, the better. The sooner the better, because there are timelines on things. There are certain things that if you do them sooner, you have more options available to you. So I'm not a lawyer, so I can't negotiate in that sense, but I can look at what is the situation. Are there other things that are going on that there are programs, strategies, options to help you with? Can I get you connected to the legal clinic, to the Center for Elder Abuse, or to other relevant programs? Another scam that I'd like to talk about is, because this one makes me so mad, they all make me mad, obviously, but a lot of people were getting these cards in their mail. And it said, if you have a disability, we will do the disability tax credit for you so that you can get up to $10,000 back. Oh, no. And of course, you don't want to miss out on $10,000 potentially, and you don't want your family to miss out on $10,000. But this was a scam. So the disability tax credit is a legitimate tax credit through the government. It's the most difficult tax credit to get, but the Grey Bruce Legal Clinic will help people with these for free. The scam part of that was that company that was going to help you with your tax credit application, which is basically your doctor doing the application. They would take a portion of what you would get back, because the government will go back in your taxes up to 10 years. So you might get this big lump sum of money, but this company is going to take a big portion of that in order to help you with the process. There are also other organizations across Canada that are legitimately registered with the Canadian government to help people with the disability tax credits.
Well, you're scaring me.
I know. I know. That's why
because
so
I think I'm smart enough, intelligent enough to be able to discern what is happening, what I think is a scam. And my husband and I talk about this all the time. I don't like the look of that. Don't click the link. Don't click the link. But what happened to me personally was the phone call that said, "Oh, who is this?" And I said, "Who are you calling?" And he said, "Well, I think you're my aunt. What's your name?" And he said, "Brandon." And I said, "Brandon, I know what you're up to. It's not going to work here." Because he was trying to do the grandparent scam. And so many times when that comes like that, your heart goes out to your grandchildren, and anybody who asks you to get, gift cards by the thousands.
I am a smart, well-educated, thoughtful person, and with this scam, I also went down that route. I got an email from my pastor that said, knew that there had been a snowstorm, lived out in the country, knew I was in town. We've had this request, this emergency request from this family with these kids that needs some gift cards to get diapers. I've got small kids. I know the
angst.
Oh, the angst. Yeah, that's a great word. Yeah, the angst of wanting, not having enough diapers, not having enough food, not having enough formula. And it was the exact email address of my pastor with a period in between Reverend and their name. And their email address was Reverend without that period, Reverend and their name without the period, and this was Reverend period and their name. And I was so, my pastor asked me to do something. I felt so wonderful that I would be called upon to do this. And I checked in with her. It was a scam, absolutely, but they prey on the feelings of feeling good about being asked to do something wonderful for someone, the feelings of wanting to take care of those in our lives, whether it's our friends, our family, our grandkids. It is scary. It is scary. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I've been scammed so many times. But yeah.
But the thing is, people become embarrassed and then they hide it.
Yeah.
And then they're losing thousands, tens of thousands of dollars because they're afraid to come forward. Yeah. But really what this program, and I want people to know, is that please don't be embarrassed, because it happens to all of us at some point in time. Some of us only lose a little bit of money. Yeah. Some people are losing tens of thousands, their life savings, their houses, they just can't go forward, and they're afraid to tell their family, their friends, or report it because they're embarrassed. Please don't be embarrassed. Please help people like you and people like the law enforcement and the lawyers to be able please come forward.
Yeah.
So that they can be able to fight this and know where the landscape is, because they pop up everywhere.
Yeah.
And how many times, I mean, we got into an energy thing, managed to get out of it. But I think that it's just so savvy.
Yeah. That's what I want people to know, is you're not being scammed by just some schmuck.
Yeah.
You are being scammed by a professional who does this day in, day out, that has training even in techniques for doing this. And that is what you are fighting against. When you talk about it to lawyers, to myself, to your kids, to other people in your life, when you talk about it, even if you're embarrassed, when you talk about, you are making other people reconsider. Think about it. You are providing protection to other people, and that is invaluable. And that lets you take the power back.
Well, I think we all feel good when we stand up and fight, instead of, hiding in a corner or trying to gloss over what has happened. But particularly with seniors, they feel that they've lived a life of knowledge and that this shouldn't happen to them, and therefore I'm not going to tell anybody it did. But when they come forward, as you say, they are protecting the next person, and I think that's a really important message.
Yeah, and you're right. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen to anyone, and it does, and we have to work together as a community to protect ourselves, to protect our neighbors, our friends, the people down the street, our kids. We have to do that because it shouldn't happen.
Well, law enforcement can't proceed with this unless they know about it.
Yeah.
And I think for every case that comes forward, there's probably hundreds of cases that are never revealed. And so how can law enforcement actually put into action and take these companies down? And they have taken down a few companies, but they pop up under a different name. So we need to provide that assistance to lawyers, financial folks like yourself, and to the law enforcement so that they have more tools.
Yeah, and like the scam related to the disability tax credit, I only knew about it because someone came forward and said, I really want to make sure that my mom gets this.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if it's legitimate. And I said, do not. Here is the legitimate. This is the legitimate process. This is not what's being advertised to you is not the legitimate process. And then I'm able to tell other people. So it does empower me to tell other people. It empowers them to tell their friends and neighbors because they're being targeted. And when you said people are being targeted, absolutely. Scammers will look at geographical locations. And if there are people that are living on a low income, that are vulnerable, that make up that demographic, they will target that area. There are some lease to own companies. They are legitimate companies, but you end up paying 4 times the cost of the actual item, and they target low income areas. They send out regular, repeated advertisements to very low income areas because they know those are the people that are going to be using their services. And it's legitimate, but it's semi-legitimate.
It's cringeworthy.
It's so painful. So those are that, and that's also that gray area where things seem legitimate and they may be partially legitimate and part of them isn't. So that's another piece that makes it confusing and difficult to know. So that's why taking time, taking a breath, asking for information in written form so that you can review it before making a decision. Those are things that you can do to protect yourself. I got partway down that utility scam and then was able to pull back because I was like, no, and looked into it further.
So you don't ever sign anything at the door.
No, oh gosh,
Never
no.
sign anything at the door.
Take time.
Never press that link for more information. And of course, you get the phone calls, constant phone calls.
Unsolicited email, unsolicited phone calls, unsolicited mail, unsolicited people at your door. Those are all, that would be the first sort of sign of like, is this something I actually asked for? If I didn't ask for this through a legitimate channel, then this may be a scam. And proceed with caution, but just because you start a process does not mean you have to follow through. You can start a process and stop and step back at any time or take a pause at any time, because those pauses are going to give you time to talk to someone legitimate, to rethink it yourself, and to decide about the next step.
Isn't there a clause that says you have like 10 days or you have 30 days to revoke a contract or to pull it back?
Yeah, and there are cancellation clauses.
Oh yeah.
But you need to talk to somebody, and you need to talk to somebody that might have to do some some information in that 10-day period, or how I don't know the number of days it is, but there is the cancellation clauses. But you have to do that quickly. So if you wait to day 11, then those things are binding. So talking to people beforehand or talking to people as soon as you are wary about it is really the way to help protect yourself the most.
Oh my gosh. With all the things that are going on,
it's hard, isn't it?
we are now inundated with a lot of opportunities to go down a really bad rabbit hole and get ourselves into quite a mess. But fortunately, we have folks like you and the legal clinic, which is free, to help buffer within our community, to help buffer some of those situations. So I'm very grateful that you're there to assist folks. Now we just need folks to come forward so that they are not only protecting themselves, but they are protecting their friends, their neighbors, their relatives, and the general public if they can. Well, thank you, Carolyn. We've had so much to talk about today, and it's been so informative. Thank you so much for coming in. And join us next time over coffee.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details. Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can leave you in a bad spot. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or a hearse. These unplanned modes of transportation can be a costly choice and do not take you home. Your plan could include a designated driver, a taxi, or public transit. Drink responsibly, choose your ride, and have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
This federal election will reshape Canada's political landscape and our country's approach to domestic and international issues.